By request, in this video, we are doing Zakk Wild's Black Label Society, the song Set You Free from Doom Incorporated. I believe it came out in 2021, and this is by request, and I kind of dialed it in. It wasn't very difficult, but I'm going to show you everything I did. And first thing first, you got to tune down to C sharp. Now, a big part of your tone is going to be in your tuning. If you don't have your guitar tuned to the proper tune, you're not going to be able to get that tone right. So grab a guitar, hopefully it has some little heavier strings so they won't be so floppy, tune it down to C sharp, and let's get into it. Going to our panel, we're going to set it on crunch, and we're going to put that gain up to about 59, and we're going to set the chain on chain 3-1. I got a booster. I don't really have anything after that. It's just kind of where it fell, and it sounds fine that way. And I do have an EQ. It's amp in on the EQ too. I don't know if that makes a difference on this amp if you got the effects chain, because it's not really an effects. It's EQ and it's just routed back. So whatever. So we got the volume up to about 71, and you're going to have to adjust it however is comfortable for you and your setting. Going over to our bass, I got it bumped up to 64, and I got the mids a little higher than I normally do, up to that 82. And we got the treble at 59. Now for this one, I am going to be using the deep cabinet resonance at set about 58. No global EQ, no solo, none of that good stuff. So we got our panel all set up, and we're going to move right on to the booster. Let's hear what our crunch is sounding like. Not much. It's a very subtle crunch, but we're going to boost that up. And a lot of the time I like to use the Tube Screamer with the crunch amp, but for this particular one, I use the other one that I really like a lot, and that's the Governor DS. That gives it kind of like a Marshall-y sound, and I believe the overall tone and distortion of that sounds better than trying to use a Tube Screamer as a boost. So with the Governor, we're going to bump that drive up to about 40, and we're going to have that set that tone really low at +2. And the bottom, we're going to leave it at 10, and we're going to hit that effects level at 50. Everything else, just leave alone. Let's hear it now. We're getting there. We have no mods, no effects, no delay, but I do have a reverb in this mix. And the reverb, it's going to be a plate reverb set at 2.6, just a low reverb time. And another low pre-delay time up to about 101 milliseconds, not much. And I just, low cut and high cut, I just put flat because I don't hear a huge difference in it, and you probably won't either. I left the density right at 5, but I brought that effects level down to 26. 26, there we go. And hear it before. And with the reverb, just gives it a little body. Almost that doubling effect. Since we're not really, double tracking here, you need a little something to kind of make it sound a little thicker. And moving right on to our Parametric EQ, we're going to go amp out on the Parametric EQ. And this is a variation of my typical one, but I do have the low gain set at +7 decibels and the hertz at 40. The low mid gain, I normally bring it down a little bit. For this one, I brought it up just a hair to +1 decibels and down to 250 on the low mid frequency. I left the low mid and high mid Q right where they're at, and I gave the high mid gain just a slight boost up to +3, and I lowered the kilohertz down to 1 because Zakk's sound in this has a little bit of a muffle, kind of almost like a muddy tone to it, but not too muddy. So we're just trying to get there without making it sound too muddy. Carrying on a little too much here. For the high gain, I went +3, and the low cut, I put it right at the sweet spot at 5. And the level, I just bumped it up to 2. So let's hear out now. Screwed it up, but you can hear it. We're getting there, and I do have a graphic equalizer, and that's going to be amp in So that puts it before the effects. I'm going to start right over here. I didn't really touch this much. 1.5 on here. I left that at 0. Plus 1 over here. Sometimes I hate this thing. Plus 4 on the 250. When I get down to the end, you can just pause it and set these yourself. Or you can just download the patch and you won't have to hear my babbling. Down on the 500, I got plus 2.5. And plus 2.5 on the 1000. I left the 2000 hertz or 2 kilohertz at 0, as well as the 4 kilohertz. And I brought this down to 4.5 on the 8. And the 6, you can just bring this one right down. You're not going to hear anything on that, really. And I got the level up to 4.5 just to give it that boost, since we brought some of the levels down. Kind of had to give the volume a little bit of boost. I didn't have it on, so you can't really hear that. So you can just leave it anywhere down there. See, it just gives a nice full distortion sound. And lastly, our noise suppressor, depending on what kind of guitar you got, whether you're running out of the speaker or whatever, if you want to kill the buzz, or if you got some really hot pickups, I set mine at about 53 and the release down to 13. Now, keep in mind, I do keep a cheap noise suppressor between the guitar and the amp just to help stop the noise right in its tracks. So let's hear it one more time in the mix. I didn't do that fancy bridge or chorus part. I didn't quite have it down yet. I just practiced what I could and made the video. I know it's kind of lazy. So that's going to do it. If you want to download the patch, it's going to be in my Dropbox and the link down in the description. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, which a lot of people that watch these videos aren't, please consider subscribing. It helps out a lot, and it can help me in the future going forward and bringing you more content like this. We'll see you next time.